show y'all my final product of the beef. It is absolutely beautiful. But now I want to show y'all, I'm on to my next project, what I have going on in the kitchen right now. To tell you it is a disaster is a total understatement, but here we go. Chicken, and more chicken. So I believe I pulled a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe I pulled a total of 6 birds out, 3 crock pots, and 3 cooked in the oven. I already have my pressure canner going, and these are all full of white meat. There's 7 quart jars in there. And I have some mixed meat. This is some white that was left mixed in with some dark, so I will can that as soon as it's done. Super excited about that. But y'all know that we have a no waste policy here at the Max. So what will I do with the bones? I'm glad you asked. Here is one of my crock pots that is full of the leftover bones with water. Here is the other crock pot that has some bones, some carcasses left over in it. And I have the other ones that I broke down last night and put back in the refrigerator because I was just trying to get a little bit ahead of the game. It's in the refrigerator outside, so I'm gonna pull those out and I'm gonna get, this is my Instapot, but it has a slow cook setting on there, so I utilize that as another crock pot. I'm gonna get that back in here. All of these, I will top the carcasses off with water. I don't add a lot of carrots, celery. I don't add a lot of that stuff to mine. Because whatever I'm making, I like to salt and season to taste whatever I'm cooking. So I don't do a lot of that in my bone broth while I'm making my bone broth. I will have all of those going. Tomorrow, I will strain off all of that liquid, and I have 2 more bags of frozen chicken broth from previous times that I've cooked. So that chicken broth is out there and will get defrosted tomorrow to go in with this batch. Then I will take that chicken broth also and put it in cans and can that and put that back up on the shelf. So I will have canned chicken and chicken broth before it's over. The bones that are left out of here, I have a very special plan with those, and I'm excited to share that with y'all, but even more excited to show y'all. A handy dandy freeze dryer. Now, why in this world would I want to dehydrate chicken bones? I'm glad you asked again. So my chicken bones, my chicken broth is going to be put in cans. My bones are going in the freeze dryer. Once those have freeze dried and they're complete, I will process that dehydrated, basically it will be brittle. That's what I'm going for, pulling all of the moisture out. Then I'm going to put those in a food processor and grind those down basically to meal. So I will have bone meal. What am I going to do with bone meal, you might ask? Well, I'm glad y'all are asking good questions today. The bone meal is going to go out in our gardens, our raised beds, anywhere we grow any type of vegetable. We're going to be putting that calcium back in our soil and prepping that for growing this spring and summer. So that is just basically giving nutrients back to the ground. And you know we have a no waste policy, so a lot of times we'll take some of those brittle bones and utilize it for dog food, and we may give her a few. Our cat likes to nibble on some of that stuff as well. But the majority of it this time, because we are prepping to plant a heavy crop, spring and summer crop, we're going to be putting most of our bone meal, I would say like 98% of everything that I get out of all of these 6 carcasses back in the freeze dryer, in the food grinder, so we can get those in the soil. So a lot going on. It's very, very exciting. We can utilize the whole bird from before it's alive with using those to scratch, fertilize, all the way to when they're long gone, we've eaten the meat, or even using their bones. Just, it's a great plan. I'm super excited about it, and I'm going to take y'all along on this journey. Now, the bones will not be able to go in the freeze dryer until I finish the chicken broth, and that will be a whole 24-hour process. I leave my bones in, cooking on high for 24 hours at least. So this will be a tomorrow afternoon thing before I get my bones in here. So y'all stay tuned. We'll cut you guys back on when we're going through that process. Also, not only are we just blowing things out of the water, new things this year with like putting bones in the freeze dryer, but also canned meat with beef and chicken in our pantries. And if y'all haven't seen our pantry videos or our playlist, y'all please be sure to go check those out. I think you guys will really like it. And if you like the content that you see, you can always subscribe to our channel. We finished the chicken and it is done. I ended up with 9 quarts of canned chicken. So I'm super glad to have those done. Here I've been straining off my broth. I have some that I pulled out of the freezer, I believe I mentioned to y'all. So I have that defrosting as well. I already have I already have 6 quarts down in my pressure canner. About to get that turned on. I've got 1 more quart to fill up to get in there, and I'm gonna have my first batch going. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna have to get my Ball Blue book. And if you're interested in canning and you're unfamiliar with the process and where you need to start, highly recommend the Ball Blue book. I had a lot of questions on the last video about that. I'm gonna get that out and check my time. I believe it is 10 pounds for 30 minutes, but I'm gonna double check because I do follow the rules when it comes to canning. That is where we're at in the kitchen. I wanted to give you an update on that. Then up next, here is my bones here in the freeze dryer. So that is my next order of business. Once I complete all of my chicken broth, is going to be getting those bones and things into the freeze dryer. We're almost to that, and I really cannot wait to show y'all what they're like coming out and how I actually grind those up as meal. So hang tight, because it's a lot of work in the kitchen, but I think it's going to be really, really good thing to be able to utilize every single bit of this bird to the absolute best of its ability.
So we're out here freezing for the afternoon. Miss Mac is inside finishing up on some chores, getting the kids ready. Typically we don't show you the evening chores. Evening chores are pretty easy. However, in this evening we had to move the mama cows. They're moving to the paddock that's away from the babies for the night. Aiden forgot to do this last night, so I walked out this morning in the rain, sleet, and nastiness and the muck. Had no milk because I realized, oh man, the babies have been with the mamas the whole night, which is not good. But hey, it is what it is. So tonight I moved them so that way we'll get some milk in the morning. It's supposed to be down in the teens tonight, or 20s and teens tonight. The next night same way. So we're going in and filling up all the waters tonight. Typically we don't have to fill up and do water chores at night, but we are tonight. You see it's cold. I have a toboggan on. We don't get this kind of weather in the south too much, so we're having to go ahead and kind of prepare for it. So we're gonna have to turn the water off that runs to all the animals, the spigots, because they'll be froze over tonight. So we want to make sure their waters are filled up for tomorrow, because they'll be frozen over tomorrow. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're gonna go ahead and move the cows. We got them moved, rotated over. The calves stay here, so we'll fill up their waters first, and then we'll make our way around the whole farm. Again, our goal is to always make sure our cows are in a place where they're not kind of on their own manure. In the winter, that process does slow down just a little bit. Our rotation does, just because they are on hay. They're not on as much grass, but we are constantly moving our hay. So where this hay is right here, as you notice, not where the feed trough is, but this is a wet area back here. So let's get away from this area. But where this hay bale is, last time we put a hay bale here, it was way up the hill. So they're not always where they were the last time in the fields. So right here where this hay bale is, that's where that hay bale was about 2 months ago when they were in that field. So we'll take that residue, put it right here in this muddy area, and we'll put the hay bale when we come back in here next month. We'll put it up on the high hill up there, not even in the area they were last time. Keep them in fresh grass, fresh areas. It's kind of hard in Mississippi because it starts getting nasty and wet and gross, but it's just part of it. Most of the waters should not be low, just because we typically only fill them up one time a day because we have big waters, except for the chickens. The chickens have the smaller waters, of course, compared to most animals. But we want to go and top them off because I doubt we'll have water at all tomorrow in any of these areas, because I don't think it's supposed to get really above freezing. Trying to deal with that tomorrow or carry water from the house, it's just better to go ahead and fill them up. Even though it's freezing right now, I still got water. It's not quite cold enough to not have water, and the line's frozen. We're going in and doing this right now, so that way we don't have to do it in the morning. We're just gonna basically milk, do feed and chores, and not have to worry about the waters in the morning. We've got to get some hay for Mr. Jingles. He's gonna get cold tonight. He's got a little hay. He's growing, y'all. Look at him. Say hey, Mr. Jingles. We keep fresh hay back there for him. We've moved him. He's ate for the night, but we want to make sure that he stays warm. So we have a heat lamp on him, and we will get him some hay. I'm just gonna get my gloves because my hands are freezing. That's better. Whew. Let's jump on the Ranger. Let's go do the rest of the chores, the evening chores, get everything done before it gets dark. The storm is coming in. It's been raining all day. It rained on me this morning milking, and again, I didn't get any milk, so that didn't help. But we got to finish up the water chore, so that way we will not have to do it in the morning, because when we come out in the morning, it's gonna be frosted over and really cold.